Is your audio working as well?
Oh, um, maybe you could put the banner in that space in the bottom.
Oh yeah. Oh, great. Great shout. Yeah,
Fill
yeah.
that space.
Yeah, yeah. Let's add image. There we go. Perfect. It's like it was meant to be.
Nice. I'll do a pin chat.
Okay.
Oh wait, I didn't include the code. Alrighty, there we go.
Perfect.
And we're live. Okay, cool. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired. It was like a bit of a despite Guernsey being an island that's literally like a few miles away, there was so much fog, so we were like circling around for hours in the aeroplane and then had to go back and then change planes and then go back again and then last apparently there's no taxis in Jersey in Guernsey to get to the airport either, so we were up at like super early, so I sort of crashed out and have just woken up again.
Dang, that is rough. Was that after your game or?
Um, yeah, well, before and after. So before the game, we were like got up at 5 a.m. to go to the airport. We were gonna get in really early, like get to the hotel, shower, all that stuff, maybe do some prep and get some breakfast, and then we ended up actually being like pretty late for the match because of all the travel. So yeah, for like a flight that should be like 15 minutes was literally like 4 hours. um, and then yeah, got late to the game and played, and then like it was great. Like afterwards, we had like an event. It's like a traditional inter island uh challenge. So every year we alternate who hosts, and then we'll play a match, and then
Hmm.
you can like retain the trophy or whatever. We lost the match unfortunately, 9-7. But Guernsey just gained like a 2300 player, and like
Hmm.
that just outrates like anyone pretty much quite massively. So that was like an instant dub on their side. He's just moved over from Scotland. So yeah, but no, it's good fun, and like there's a lot of like traditions and stuff. They have like these like speeches and things, and it's kind of really nice. And then unfortunately had like got a flight cancelled to the next day, and then got moved to like the first thing flight, so like had to get up super early and come back. Um, so yeah, but yeah, all
Bummer.
good. It was fun. I'm just a bit tired. What about you? How's Europe?
Uh, yeah, I've been chilling in Hamburg.
Nice.
No, no travel horror stories. Thankfully, everything's been cool. Working on a course here at ChessBase.
Nice.
Um, so that's been good. It's on positional, um, I don't know, understanding positional play. I think it's going to be like fundamentals of positional play, something like that.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
Cool.
I think it's going. I got some good material for it. It's cool.
Well,
And we're playing this tournament soon, which is exciting.
yeah, yeah. So I'll need to like get back on the tournament prep kind of vibe this week.
Yeah, yeah, you'll have to get back into it.
Yeah.
The battle zone. Um,
Hi, Oscar Chess. We're just doing a bit of like game analysis on a couple of games that I sent over to Kostya. So I'm gonna go tear apart my my terrible chess.
so shall we shall we start with this game? So this is the game you played yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So this the opening, I'm fairly certain I was just like kind of losing out of the opening. It felt very much that way. In terms of timings, I did write down my times, but essentially I had 4 minutes left on move 20, so terrible time management as well.
What
Because I had
was the
such
time control?
90 plus 30.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the worst. This is my worst ever game for time control. Like I've never tanked like this before, and I was sat there like in pain.
Wow. Um, yeah, that's not good. I mean, I guess we'll see why. But okay. Hopefully we'll have this clock rating out soon, so you'll
Yeah, yeah, I
really,
know, I know. I was
really
like,
see.
well, I've got the timings written down, so I need to add them.
Yeah.
I need to add them in, but yeah. So last time I played Gerda in the international tournament in Jersey, I won, and we had the same colors, so that was quite nice going into this. But she decided to play something completely different, um, and she saw that I was a French player and prepped this B3. She was telling me in the postmortem. Um,
So she's played this before or no?
no, I don't think so. And that's also why I think I managed to get back into
Whoops.
the game because she played all the ideas, but I don't think they were necessarily correct at the points she played them. Um, so B3,
Hmm.
and I continue with D5. Um, Normal French plan. I've pushed E6, so I might as well. And then Bishop B2. And just saying, do you want to take the pawn? I thought a little while on here, not like hugely. I thought taking the pawn wasn't really that advantageous to me. Uh, I thought I'd lose it, and if I try and hold on to it, I just think white gets a lot of activity. So, for example, D takes, um, and then knight F3, and if I push F5, for example, I everything feels quite loose around the king, and yeah, is it not letting you move?
Yeah, sorry, let me refresh. Because it let
Yeah,
me
I saw you
move.
like moving the thing. I was like, I thought you were just kind of illustrating.
It let me make a move, so it should let me make more. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I think it was just
just browser stuff.
all right. So
Um,
yeah, knight c3.
and I
Um,
really didn't like either knight f6 here or pushing and just trying to hold the pawn. Just I thought that I thought I was wasting time anyway, trying to keep hold of it maybe. Um, yeah, queen e2. I mean, I this wasn't didn't feel too bad either. And I didn't mind this per se, but I thought like maybe bishop e7 here, try get castled, or like yeah,
yeah, it's hard to I would say go into something like this without really knowing it because
yeah,
it's like pretty unfamiliar. Um, I faced this a couple times as a French player, and I always just went knight f6.
yeah. Um,
Because you kind of want this kind of want a French structure if you're playing a
Yeah,
French.
yeah, exactly. And then I was just thinking, like, well, if you push e5, then I'm arguing you just blocks your dark bishop. Although everything is going to be probably really hard to break down, but and I know that I'm maybe wasting some time and losing some space, but I was okay with this because I go knight d7, c5 still, knight c6. Um, eh, Maybe some bishop b5 is a little bit annoying because my knight's on d7, but yeah, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is playable. I remember Grandmaster once played this against me,
Hmm. Wow.
which I thought was so wild. I mean, it's like just
That
bringing the queen out so early and not with tempo.
yeah, like and okay, I mean, I suppose the idea is it just to restrict the dark squared bishop and just say you can't really develop your bishop well.
I
Well,
think, well, yeah, it's just to like, I
and
think it's just to place the queen well for the future.
yeah,
And then when you play knight f3, now you're not blocking the queen.
and there's no like f6 breaks as well because of e6, I guess at this point and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, although maybe that's something White would actually just want to encourage because of just open up the bishop.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if this is very good, but I'm sure I reacted badly. So it's just like, I don't know what to make of it. Um, so so yeah, I think knight f6 is all right. I feel like e5 is the more critical move.
Yeah.
So white takes,
I opted to take
gives
with the
check.
pawn. I did debate taking with the knight, but I preferred taking with the pawn, even though it does open up. Um, I wasn't like hugely expecting Queen E2. But I really should have been. So the next few moves, I don't really know. Um, I did actually debate also Bishop E7 and allowing Bishop takes F6, and I had an inkling that that is probably the way to play, but I just couldn't face playing with this doubled isolated pawn structure. Um, uh, I couldn't. Yeah, I didn't really want to deal with that, so I played Bishop E6, and I was fully aware that Bishop E6, Knight F3 was coming, and I expected Knight F3, Knight D4. Or Bishop E6, Knight F3, uh, Bishop E7, Knight
Hmm.
D4, something to that effect. Or uh Knight G5 as well. I was trying to figure out if that was worth playing. But yeah, Knight D4, and I was probably actually going to try and go Queen uh, D7. I did think about Knight D4, Knight C6, but like and sort of trying allowing the pawn to drop. But yeah, I didn't feel great in this, and I completely missed like all of this like Queen A, Queen B5 check and just stuff that's like basic, and I should really be looking out for. And I do like the tactic I fell into to lose the B pawn as well. I don't know, yeah, just felt all of it. Yeah, but Bishop E7 and Queen A,
Yeah.
yeah, five. But I think Knight D4
I
is still better. Like I don't know, I really didn't know about Queen when she played it. I was just like something didn't feel quite right about it to me. But I think I definitely misplayed because I also just was blind to Bishop B5 after Queen takes B7. Also, because I was like, oh well, it's a poison pawn. Um, After Bishop D7, and I played this a bit too quickly, I think, and then I started slowing down. Because I realized all the trouble I got myself into.
right.
Um,
Yeah, actually I had this once in a game.
mm.
Um, Hold on, let me see if I can look this one up. So yeah, tactics and Swindle was asking if Queen B5 wins the pawn. So yeah, but I think the point is that White has to spend
A lot of
some time
time.
taking it.
And
So it's
this
like
is what like my game plan became after I sort of didn't really see all the tactics, but I was like, look, I'm gonna get very active, and I think she definitely misplayed the next few moves, allowing me some like tempi and also the tactic I had with Bishop A3 later. But yeah.
so okay, yeah, so this was my game actually from a little while ago, like 2011. I had this. So it went like this. White played Queen B5 here.
Yeah.
And my opponent was higher rated. He was like 2500
Yeah.
USCF.
Knight
So
D7. Yeah.
2400. He was like an IM. Um, and he takes.
And you go Bishop
I went
C5 here.
here.
Okay.
Bishop C5 I think is probably possible too. But White would get out
Yeah. Okay.
Queen B5.
Right.
And then it's pretty similar. I think black is like very much happy to give a pawn here because
I mean, look at the development.
um
Like,
yeah, it's like we got three extra pieces
yeah,
and it's our turn so we could castle.
yeah.
So it feels like we're 3, 4 moves ahead, which definitely is enough for one pawn.
Okay.
Um and so yeah, that was kind of like I don't know if I really thought about it too deeply because yeah, I definitely didn't want to allow this one. I think this is
It just feels wrong.
kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the bishops are particularly good here. And it would be hard to make use of them. So I think just giving the pawn is the way to go. Um, so yeah, I just played rook b8. I think to to show that I was willing to give the second pawn, too.
Nice.
Like that's how much I believed in the position.
Right.
And I was wanting this because then I thought like, okay, then
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's like really, really bad.
Yeah.
Um, so rook b8, white played here. I develop. Goes d4.
Oh, okay. I suppose c4 comes
Okay,
at some
so
point to release the d4 pawn.
yeah, I think you want to like stop the knight from jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not sure. Queen d3.
Oh, I suppose queen d3 is coming as well. You're not blocking that pawn, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to get kind of behind the pawn. But it's a lot of time. Rook e8, I'm just kind of like
yeah. Wow.
just calmly developing.
Yeah. But nothing to see here.
Yeah. Bishop e2. C5. Knight f3. And then here. Okay, here I started getting a little frisky. I went knight h5.
Right.
So looking for knight
For knight, yeah.
f4. And then if g3, I'll probably go bishop h3.
Yeah, right. Nice.
And then
Queen, yeah,
yeah,
queen
I mean
e7's
probably white should
coming.
just try to castle queenside, but yeah, queen e7 is going to be a problem and
You think
c4 somewhere.
c4, yeah. Yeah,
Um
this looks great. Okay.
yeah, actually if knight d2, there's already c4. White takes, it's rook takes b2, and
Yeah.
then if here it's just like
Everything's just
just
working
really bad.
together. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Knight h5. Huh.
Um so white played here. I took. And now if knight d4, not sure exactly what I wanted, but probably knight c5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Well, yeah, I guess. Okay. Because you can come to e4 as well. I was wondering,
yeah,
like,
try to
on.
come to
Yeah.
e4. And then maybe bishop g4 somewhere. Yeah, okay, just looked like I have really nice activity. Queen f6 also, the queen can come out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so white castled.
Wow.
I went queen
Uh,
c7.
yeah.
Now I'm just being annoying. Now if knight takes d4, I
You're
take on
just taking
h2. It's
h2,
like,
yeah.
okay, take this one and start going after the king. Um, and if queen d4, maybe here knight e5.
Yeah.
Kind of unpleasant.
Uh, oh, yeah, okay. So you're not hanging because you attack the queen and skewer the rook. Cool.
Yeah. Also, okay, I could probably just take on c2 as well if I like want to get some material and then bring the queen back to g6. Okay, bishop d3. I feel like I wouldn't go for this. I feel like I would rather just keep the initiative going.
Sure.
White played g3, knight c5, and goes queen d1,
Uh,
which is kind of strange. Actually, I'm not sure. Okay, I guess on queen takes d4, bishop h3 was the
Yeah,
problem.
bishop h3 feels annoying, doesn't it?
rook e1 and
Well, oh, you suppose you can't yet. I mean, was there even potential of actually? No, there wasn't actually. I lie, not at all. I was trying to displace that knight somehow, but I can't. Then f3 knight, but there's no way.
okay, here I might be able to already sack.
Bishop takes, and then bishop f1, maybe. Oh no. Hmm.
I think this one.
Ooh. And then rook takes e1, and then bishop takes f1.
Yeah. So if here take
Yeah. And then you're threatening bishop e4 and e5 as well after that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um and then otherwise like rook e4 is coming and rook g4.
Mm. Wow.
I don't know, maybe there's other stuff too, but I was already having yeah, these thoughts in my mind. Um
Wow.
so it goes queen d1, but now I'm not even down a pawn, like bishop h3, knight e4.
Ouch. Yeah. Now you've definitely got like some kind of stuff.
Now, yeah, now it's just like it's just looming. He plays knight g5, and okay, yeah, I mean, I just like I had to, like it wasn't okay, definitely wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
So I hit the queen, king takes, bishop g3.
Yeah.
It's just kind of mate.
Yeah.
Um, say here and then this one,
Oof.
and I think this. This is supposed to be mate.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
Okay,
No,
queen
you can just go
e5.
queen e4. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well.
that was basically it. He went here. I took this one. I mean, if you didn't take the first piece, I'm definitely
Yeah. Yeah. So,
totally
just say
second.
take
The
another.
second
Yeah.
three then
Uh. Yeah. Oh,
is
that's enough.
resigned.
Yeah.
Um, so technically, I won without sacrificing.
Yeah,
Um,
you still got all of your minor pieces. There's,
yeah, exactly.
well,
So
yeah, I 97. I just completely hallucinated that on queen takes I had bishop c6 and the queen was trapped and just I wasn't. I was so like I tunneled in on like that area of the board. So yeah, um,
yeah, I gotcha. Um, oh, 1 second.
all good.
Hey, Pizza Racer. Hello, hello. Um, so yeah, bishop e7, check, and yeah, just miscalculation.
Yeah, and here um, I thought it might be too dangerous for her to take the rook after bishop takes um b5. So bishop b5, queen a1, bishop c5. Um, and then it's getting a little dicey.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
Yeah. So I think that's okay. Um, Uh,
Well, we sack the pawn, but let white trade off a piece. Um, and now it doesn't seem like she's behind in development, really.
yeah,
That was,
yeah,
yeah, kind of a bummer. I guess knight d7,
and then queen
definitely,
takes, and then
right?
I get the tempi, and well, yeah, I was debating 97 queen takes rook b1, but I didn't have faith in her taking like me having two pawns for this. Um so
Yeah, I mean, even if you just castle, I think,
yeah,
like it's not like a simple position, I would say, but uh, yeah, I mean, the real problem is that you just like because if bishop d7 is working, then it's kind of a superior move.
yeah,
Like if white can't even take the pawn here.
yeah.
So, but then it's okay. It's also a bit more awkward. Like let's say white goes back. Um, like queen d3.
Yeah,
Bishop doesn't really want to be here, I would
sure.
say. So you're gonna have to move it anyway. Though of course white setup looks kind of ridiculous. Like, um, so okay, we get this.
And so yeah, so queen e2 I thought was a bad move. Like I thought queen d3. Um
Yeah, queen is gonna be kind of a target here.
yeah. And then g4 also was a terrible move. Like this is why I think she just prepped and did hadn't played it before and has prepped because these are all the ideas. So I've had like a quick look at like a b3 versus the French, and all of the moves she played are moves and plate and squares where things go, but I don't know if they're like the right times she put them. So g4 was like super premature because obviously not castled. Um, I think the move order transposes anyway because I was going to play like rook e8, but I didn't like rook e8 queen a6. Or rook e8 castles bishop a3 queen a6 more precisely. Um, and I quite like bishop a3 just here to get rid of that
Hmm.
dot squared bishop.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that makes sense.
yeah, because the
It's
queen
a
on
nice
a6 is
move.
a little bit more annoying. Um, although yeah, maybe not. But
Here.
yeah, at this point I was like, fine, I'm definitely not worse now because I thought I was just worse before. Because if she went queen d3, I actually didn't know how I was defending the central the like my two isolated like pawns.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was particularly just worried, and like knight d4 and other moves as well, or yeah, or even if she castled instead of g4, I was just like wasn't sure what I would do.
We got knight c5.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was before when I said queen d3 it was instead of queen e2 before she castled.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. So I thought queen d3 here. Um threatening the d pawn, maybe knight.
Oh,
Knight
probably
c5
this
still.
one.
Sure. Queen d4. I didn't like queen d4 as in there's a potential battery. So like as soon as that knight moves, um, I didn't
Yeah,
like.
but you're gonna kick this queen with knight e6 pretty soon.
Hmm.
So it feels doesn't seem like white can really do anything to you.
Okay.
Like let's say castles, maybe knight e6 here, or maybe a5 first. Probably actually knight e6.
Can
Takes, you have bishop c5.
yeah. Bishop c5. Yeah, sure.
I don't
Hmm.
know. Could start with this too, maybe.
What is so with like the pawn pushes as well? I suppose like this is where I'm never really sure about like attacking with pawns. I mean, a5 feels like a right move to me, but I obviously trying to get a4. I suppose does white want to play a4 in response to stop me playing, or play something like a3? So if I ever push a4, they push b uh b4, but then I've always got c5 later. Like I'm never really sure. Ah, yeah, okay, yep.
It's kind of nice, huh?
Okay,
And then you're kind of threatening that with A4, AB3 too,
yeah,
which is cool.
okay. So maybe
Um,
queen d3 wasn't such a good move then. Maybe queen e2 was.
yeah, I think black still has some reasonable compensation here. Maybe white shouldn't have castled queenside.
Mm,
Maybe white should just castle kingside actually.
sure.
Seems safer. And then yeah, I'm not sure if black really has enough here. Probably not. Um, because it doesn't feel like we're really ahead in development.
Yeah.
But it's still playable. I would say it's not like that easy for white. Like you can go A5 and like rook B4 maybe or
Mm-hmm.
96 somewhere. So yeah, probably white's uh a bit better, but doesn't seem easy to play
Sure.
regardless. Just kind of non-standard. But yeah, this definitely too much.
Yeah.
Um
My general take from her as a player, from what I've seen as well, is she makes quite impulsive, aggressive decisions, and that's also why I won the last game against her. And like, she's played in the Olympiad, so she's played some quite strong players as well, who obviously really capitalize on some of those, and that's essentially how she's lost most of the games from the looks of it. So yeah, I was happy when I saw that.
mm. These kinds of players are also very scary for me to play because it's like they're always gonna come after. Um, but this is nice. Queen D7.
18, Queen D7, I'm just checking. 17 was Queen D7, right? Yeah, Queen D7, G5, cool. Sorry, I'm just double checking that I put it in right.
Hmm.
Because I think I put this all in from memory. Um,
A6.
yeah, so this at this point I had 4 minutes on my clock,
Right.
which is not so. I wasn't sure about knight A3. I thought knight C3 might have been slightly better, but again, I had zero
Yeah.
time to calculate. Terrible time management.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's probably yeah, the biggest issue is because your moves seem like pretty good. I mean, bishop A3 and rook E8.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought I needed to
Knight
play. So my
D6.
general like thought process was I'm down the pawn and I need to play dynamically. And every move I make, I was just trying to make her make a reactive move, so my development was more advantageous. that was like a that was like my gut feel, and then I was just trying to play those moves that did those kind of things. Um, oh yeah, because
Yeah.
I couldn't calculate anymore.
Um, no, that makes sense. Wait, so C5, I assume you rejected because of knight C6.
Yeah, a knight c6 was my worry, and that's also why I went queen d7, because also if there are any knight uh, tactics or like queen d7, knight b5, I was trying to look at knight d4, sorry, knight c4, and see if things
Mhm.
those kind of things started working. But yeah, knight c6 was just the problem I didn't want to fall into, and again, no time to actually calculate like intermezzos and move orders. So I was just trying to play like simple moves that, but still try and set up some traps with my moves.
At this point, I might have just taken the pawn.
I genuinely thought so. What move we on 19? So I probably wasted some time. Think I was really close to just taking the pawn and then going knight e6 to hold like the g square. Um,
Right.
And then if knight takes, I go rook takes, and then I can, just put a rook on the g file and just say like, what you doing? Um,
Yeah. Um,
or rook takes no double, like on,
I mean, black looks very comfortable here. White's pawns look kind of weak on the king side, and
yeah.
you still have your queen side play. You have rook g6 whenever you need. So it feels like it's kind of just like a practical decision. You just get your pawn back and
Yeah, so knight e4, king a1, and then I played c5 instead of takes. Yeah, because also like, well, I didn't really want to try and trade pieces, because I was down the pawn, but I knew that I could just collect the pawn, but also I was just really worried on the time front, so I kept attacking instead instead, because I was trying to like make her think so
yeah.
I could think on her time. um,
Right.
um,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you just take the pawn now. Now it's like even better.
sure. Yeah. I
Because
mean,
now you avoid the trades and then you have like d4
yeah,
is kind of annoying here and a6 you still have.
yeah.
Because well the issue is actually I'm not sure why white maybe white should have traded like right away.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and then because I actually had a tough time deciding whether I should take with the pawn or the rook, as well. Um, the differences are quite big. Uh,
You mean after the game?
no, during the game, like, because I spent time calculating, like, when I went knight e4, I spent time calculating, uh, whether she'd take, because I thought she would. And then yeah, whether it should be rook or pawn, and then I kind of like pawn to close, like to semi close up the file, so there wasn't an instant rook trade if she wanted with like or like because I thought she'd just go like rook e1, um, kind of plans and try and just get pieces off the board and say that my pawns were worse than
How
hers.
much time did you spend on knight e4?
So 94. Yeah, because of this, I spent a lot of time. So I went from 32 to 19, so like 12 minutes.
12 minutes on knight e4.
Yeah, because I was trying to calculate
What?
rook versus pawn after knight take.
Right, but then doesn't even happen.
It doesn't know, but then I was like, right, fine, I can play c5. And I was like, fine.
That's I mean that's the whole what but like what other move do you have here?
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, uh, yeah. I mean, I was c5. I also had c5 here. Um,
Okay.
but I did,
So
I did,
c5 is definitely something to spend time on.
I did look at c5. So that was the first move I looked at. I looked at c5, and then I c5 f takes, c takes. You can't really allow, I because I get the extra tempi. And then knight, like knight e2, and then uh, I was debating on like queen e6. So it's obviously threatening the knight, and then I can pick up the f4, the pawn on f6, for example. Because if you don't move the knight, then I take the knight on c3 with check. So yeah. Um,
Hmm.
so I did look at c5 first, and c5 knight across, and then I'd get my knight out of the way. But yes, c5, uh, g takes f, cd. I think I'm fine. Because I don't know whether the knight kind of has to go to e2 or goes to f3, but f3 I didn't think was any great shakes either. Because I just attack, and then also I've still got knight c4 to calculate, or knight a4 as well, because that's like a check that I can throw in at any point in any of those maneuvers. If they, I don't know whether they help me particularly, but yeah, that's something to just like throw into the mix maybe. But there's no like real tactics at the moment with it. Um, and then even if oh sorry, the knight can't go to f3, but even if like knight e2, I have queen a4 as well. Or knight a4, or like knight c4 check. Like I was trying to figure out some like um or c5 knight moves, knight a4 check, king moves, knight takes c. I can play like knight takes c3 as well. Like there's quite a lot of like variations with c5 and the knight checks, I think, as well. Um, so yeah, I think that's actually probably where most of my time went. It's like c5, and then I probably spent a good few minutes on like knight takes or rook takes after knight e4 because I sort of was it was unclear maybe.
Yeah, I guess I would feel like with your time kind of ticking down, you want to just be know that you're okay after 94,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, basically spend your time thinking like maybe C5 is worth going for.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. It doesn't um it's not totally clear.
yeah.
Because there I guess there we're still gonna be a pawn down.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, okay, so 94, King A1, and then how much time on C5?
Oh, c5 like a couple minutes. Like
Okay.
I think I was just double checking some bits. Or yeah, I was probably thinking more about like knight takes as well. But yeah. Um, c5. Yeah, and then this is where I spent a ridiculous amount. Like I spent like 10 minutes on a6.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these moves, like I just tanked so much time. And like I really got into like I realized when I was like on the a6 move, I was like, I'm in like this frozen state because a6 I was worried about giving up the pawn in some lines with like queen takes a6 as well, which obviously is like not great for white, but I was like scared about it because I was like a6, queen a6, rook, or well, a6 the knight captures and or, like the knight gets out of the way, but then there were like lines where a6, queen a6, rook h8, queen takes b6. I think is absolutely great for me because I could pick up the other knight and things like that. But like, yeah, I was going down various lines with a6 as well, but then I was just sort of yeah, I opted to just go for it anyway and should have just played it because it was the move I was like looking at from like the start. Because if that pawn ever
Yeah.
goes, my attack just is just great.
Yeah, and also if it's like if you're only like really considering one move, then yeah, you should just play it. Because
Well,
time
I
pressure is
no,
gonna be really
yeah,
difficult.
well, I was considering c4, but I just didn't see like I thought c4 was a bit meh, and then also d4 I was trying to check out as well, see if that was like doing anything. So I looked at both of those pawn pushes and ace. So like those are like the three main moves on my mind, I think, at that point in time. So like a6, c4,
Hmm.
d4, um, and then oh, still knight takes g5. I was still really
Yeah.
considering. Because I was like, knight takes g5, and I might just like keep it simple, but I just didn't want to open the g file.
Yeah, I think that's the move that makes your life easiest.
Yeah,
Because it's a big pawn. I mean, it's just like and then your attack is still because I think the problem with a6 is you let white trade off a piece.
right.
Um and yeah, now we just have like less material to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Um but this doesn't feel so bad. Mainly, yeah, just spent too much time getting here.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing because I feel like I was sensing that like the position, like also with all like her king moves trying to get out of the way of tactics and stuff. I just like had a sense that there's something, and I kept trying to set up tactics like queen e6 here, and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like I would take here. Like rook g1, queen f6,
sure.
and because white's just not that active. Like I mean, we've traded off a couple pieces, so they don't have that much to attack with, and you just got to go like g6, and you're basically fine.
So,
Um,
I wish I had that confidence. I was like, that pawn
like
is shielding me, and if they ever pushes, I just take and like my king is really solid behind like the little pawn formation. Um,
yeah, it no, but now like psychologically, you don't have to be a pawn down, and
sure.
it seems like you can just keep A4 is your next move, and then
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't
like
know.
queen,
Um,
like maybe queen b5 and something like that. Like I was worried about queen b5 and like little bits of lines as well.
yeah, but I think we're just
Just
so
keep
these
plugging
pawns
away.
were like very willing to give up because they just open lines to White's king.
Yeah.
Similar to how, maybe White's not that upset that we took their G pawn, but I just feel like
Is
yeah,
that
you can win the game on both sides of the board, and like there are definitely games I've won and lost because I was on the queen side or my opponent was on the queen side,
mhm,
and then we just gave up too much material on the king side, and then ended up just like two pawns down, and
right?
you know.
Yeah,
So
just
at some point, like maybe you even take on F2.
yeah.
I mean, no, I wouldn't do it
No, no, yeah.
right now, but like if you go G6 and yeah, White has no threats. I mean, you can take both these pawns and
And trading down isn't too much of a problem for me, I suppose, at those points because I'm picking up
yeah, if
pawns.
you're pawn up, yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Queens come on. Okay, now that I think about it, I mean, well, actually, yeah, like once you go G6, you can take on F2 because if Rook F1, you can then take on D2,
yeah.
which messes with White's king. So
Like,
so G6 maybe we are threatening Rook take Queen takes F2.
mm,
Um, but okay, but also White has to deal with like this, this problem like on B3 and so yeah, position is still nice. I think mainly yeah, mainly okay, just the time usage.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I'm not getting into time trouble like this again. Well, I probably will, but like, I've never. This is like the first instance where I was like, "This is bad. Like, why have I done this to myself?" I wasn't sure about
uh,
trading down here as well. My opponent reckoned instead of trading down, I should have gone rook a8, trying for rook a2, because she was like, "I think you missed something there." Oh, thank you for following, Thinker Teacher. Um, uh,
or instead, so here, okay,
yeah. Because if rook a1, for example, then I pick up the pawn. On so rook a1, rook takes, queen takes, knight takes.
right.
Um, but yeah, like I don't know if that's the right response for white rook a1 anyway. Um, but I also opted to trade into a rook endgame because I think for well, yeah, like I think kind of like for my level, I really enjoy rook endgames, and I think I've got a good like compared to most people of like my maybe that's nice, yeah. My level, I'm actually okay at rook endgames. I was yeah maybe worried about some
Yeah, I'm
back
not
rank bits
sure.
here, but check rook up takes rook takes. Oh, that would be nice. So like what rook a2 here is kind of interesting. Um.
Yeah, I mean it's White's move, but
Oh right, yeah.
we are threatening Rook A2. So it's annoying for White here. Um,
Maybe just
let's say
knight
take
takes.
here and back.
Why rook takes and b6 instead of queen takes? I suppose
Um,
it's just better placed on e6, I guess, because you're
I
defending
don't know, I
anything.
kind
Yeah,
of maybe I want to double rooks,
sure.
and then maybe the queen can come to like F5. at some point.
Hmm.
Um, because here I'm definitely ready to start collecting pawns.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, if Queen C4, there's check, and you can go for this rook endgame.
Yeah, and then I pick up the D pawn, which is probably slightly
Right.
better. Yeah.
And this one looks really kind of
Yeah.
nasty for white.
Yeah.
Um, or maybe we can just play the heavy piece position
Mm.
too. Also not so fun.
Mm.
But I don't know. Actually, I think I'd go for that rook endgame. See here, this is yeah, like you just bring your king in and yeah, it's probably winning. It's probably winning. It's probably just like because white just has too many weaknesses.
And the rook's just so inactive.
Yeah, no activity exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
So I opted to trade down. I thought this was actually slightly worse for me, because I think uh my like there's some ways that like those double pawns aren't as bad because she has that D pawn. Um, and so yeah, I think like I thought it was probably like engine equal, but I thought it was slightly worse for me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, like some of these moves I was playing with like seconds on the clock, so um, like I don't have too much rhyme or reason other than I thought she went for the wrong plan with rook h2, and thought she should have tried to trade rooks and go for this pawn instantly that she's going for now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I feel like you played this okay.
yeah, yeah. I didn't see a way through. There's a few people being like, "Oh, surely you were winning that," and I was like, "I don't think so." Um, like, I've got like I thought about going like Rook H1, or even Rook H2, trying to get in like uh, G three, for example, and things like that, which are fine. But she also had like 25 minutes on her clock versus like my no time.
Yeah.
So I yeah, I didn't really see a way through. She thinks she was slightly better here. Um, I don't really see it. Um, and I don't. Yeah, I I don't know. I did try and debate whether I could give up the pawn, but I was like, if I've got two outside passes, they're going to be the trickiest things for her to deal with. Um, and I was trying to figure out if I could get away with like Rook H1, getting rid of letting her take on C5, but I thought her pawns were just too far advanced. And I wouldn't really be able to get there in time. But again, no time to actually like grind it through in my head.
Yeah. What was the team situation at this point?
Again, because I was on such low time, I couldn't get up to like go and look. like,
I see.
um, but I think it was fairly tight. At this point in
Hmm.
time,
Yeah.
it was pretty
Yeah, I guess
even
if you wanted to
throughout.
play
Yeah.
on probably rook h2
Hmm.
would be the thing to because g3 is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to play on, but like
Well,
just
I was thinking like,
out of interest.
yeah, here Rook F6, and then
Hmm.
I
Let's say here.
um and then I'll go like Rook F1 or Rook F8 maybe.
And
I suppose can I push pawns? Yeah.
yeah, just push your h pawn.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
But of course white can go so actually let me go
Oh, do you go King F1? I know it doesn't feel great, but or King D8, or King E1 maybe. Like
king e1. Mm.
instead of my rook f8 because that's like a bit of a waste of
Oh
time,
no, but
won't it?
rook was hit. Rook was hit.
Oh right, sorry, yeah, cool.
But actually, maybe I mean, you could just go. Let's say here, go for this one, then h4.
Can I just keep checking now? Like rook g1, just keep.
Um, Probably go this way.
G3 is coming. But rook f4 now. You still got g3. Huh. Rook
Yeah.
takes check,
Mm-hmm.
and then okay, yeah, maybe not. Huh. No, I thought that was the
Yeah,
thing.
this I mean, black is
Yeah,
definitely winning.
yeah.
H pawn just runs. Um,
Maybe you go. You have to go like king f1 straight away.
Probably yeah. Just gotta deal with the threat right away. And then not king f3.
Yeah, it's like whoa.
Maybe push, takes, push.
Maybe.
Say comes down here.
Can I just keep checking the king? I was wondering instead of like some. Oh yeah, because like now my passer is actually scary for white for black.
Yeah, it feels like white's okay here. I think we're not really in time. Um, wait, hold on. We are in time.
Rook takes and then you get behind the pawn.
But we have
No. That's so annoying. Oh
I think
yeah, of
this one's
course.
easier than
Yeah,
queen versus rook.
yeah,
Just get the rook versus four
yeah.
weak pawns.
Yeah.
Um, so this is still kind of annoying. I don't know. White can come back behind the pawn.
Rook h1 is still scary. What about instead could no, no.
Actually, you're just here. Oh, white is check. So yeah, rook h1, king e2. Well, h2.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Actually,
You can't
I
do
think
anything.
this is kind of rough for white.
Okay, so maybe like down this line is kind of just impossible.
Because
Well, uh, huh.
yeah, you've got like this idea.
Pawn takes? Why is
And then we do the loop-de-loop.
uh huh.
It's kind of that's hard to see from
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
back.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but yeah,
But some nice ideas. Be interesting to check later if that's
the way.
Black has some chances there.
Yeah, it does feel practically harder.
But game was pretty fun, pretty fighting.
Yeah, yeah. Um, uh, I'm interested. I mean, after Bishop D7, I'm fairly certain like it's not good for me. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I suppose Queen D3 didn't seem too as
Mm.
bad as I thought it was for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's like huge for white actually.
Because I
Even
just
this.
felt um Yeah, I felt like it was pretty hopeless. Like, I
Oh,
well, I realized I was gonna get like activity, but I just thought like it's gonna be quite hard for me from that point onwards.
I don't know. White needs to find a good square for the queen, which is not so obvious. If they can do that, then yeah, it'd be hard to find some real compensation. But where exactly does the queen go? Um, yeah, I'm not sure, but I think you played the game all right.
Okay.
Uh, just uh, just a bit slow. That's all.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because like
sure. I
time.
mean, yeah, a lot of these are moves that like sort of would just jump out. Also, Bishop A3 was probably one of the faster moves I made as well. Like,
Right.
it's like, it's
So,
one of
so
those.
yeah, all these other moves I feel
Yeah,
like are yeah, much more intuitive or apparent.
yeah,
Um, yeah, shall we look at another one?
sure, sure. Um,
Okay. It's a little bit small here.
Jacobson. That was the next one. I was fairly in control for most of this game. It was an unfortunate blunder at the very end. This was the last round of the Jersey International Tournament, and he was like the second or third seed. Um, I think I played this pretty well, to be honest. But I don't say so
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, this one's annotated as well. My thoughts. So I sort of went through most of this. Um, Yeah, a friend of mine said I shouldn't have, or maybe it was later. When we traded in the middle, I should have gone for an isolated pawn. Actually, no, yeah, earlier, but I
Oh,
I like taking with the knight. Um, was it here? C takes knight takes d4. Yeah, so yeah, my friend Gaston, he's like a fairly decent club player. I think he was biased because he's had some really good IQP positions, but he was like, this was prime for an IQP because all your pieces start working around it really nicely. But I really liked Knight takes T5. Yeah. I thought it was just positionally better.
yeah, I'm not so sure White's happy here. I mean, because we've already traded off one minor piece,
Hmm.
which is to Black's favor,
Okay.
and then on Bishop B4 check, I'm not sure.
Why is that to Black's favor to in terms of for an IQP, as in they want less pieces on the
Yeah,
board
because
if I
White's the one with the damage structure
right,
and attacking chances, so they want to keep more minor pieces on the board
sure.
in particular, so that there's more attacking potential.
I also have a
Um,
phobia of playing with isolated pawns. I'm aware of it, but I whenever I have the opportunity to uh, create an isolated pawn for my opponent, I will always take it because it gives me an easy plan. And actually don't know how to play myself with an IQP as also. So
no, I mean there are weaknesses. Yeah, it's a weak pawn.
I
So you need minor pieces on the board. Like if White had a knight on C3 here,
mhm,
White would be much happier.
right.
So I think this is actually a good version for Black. I think you were right to avoid it.
Cool.
I mean, probably White should move the king
Ooh,
because like if Bishop D2, we're trading off a second piece.
right.
Let's say just castles B6, and
And
yeah, I think Black is just better.
I'm just going to be tied to the defense, I guess, rather than
Yeah,
like using it for activity.
because there's just not enough pieces to attack with here, basically. Like
Hmm.
just bishop b7, rooks come out, queen d6 probably, and yeah.
Sure.
Um, my feeling on this opening is that white should be trying to castle queenside.
Ooh. Okay. Um, reasons being just
Just more aggressive.
yeah, cool.
So
So like bishop c5, queen, I don't know.
I think Wesley So played knight f6 here, which is pretty similar, and c3
Okay.
and c5. This is against the Kovian. He won a very nice game. Um, and I think it went something like this, maybe bishop e3 here. But basically, he went bishop d3 and queen c2. And this was annoying for black because he's putting some pressure, so he provokes some weakness here, maybe h6
Hmm.
and castles, and then
Right.
the plan is like g4, g5.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I'm not sure about the opening here. It's just I feel like that's always been the most aggressive way to play it.
Right.
Because if you castle kingside, um, structurally white doesn't really have anything here because black is like an extra pawn in the center.
Hmm.
So unless you have like it's kind of like an open Sicilian. Like unless you can use your lead in development, then strategically black is even more comfortable in the middle game because like if they can get their bishop to b7, they're just gonna like feel better with an extra center pawn, kind
Yeah.
of like in the Sicilian. If white doesn't get like an attack, then black starts kind of taking over a bit. Um, so that's why I feel like we got to try to castle queenside to like make the most of it. Maybe bishop g5 here. I'm
Sure.
not sure.
Uh, six, one, six, queen takes check. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think I was also did wonder on bishop g5, but I also am trying to do all of my basic principles of like develop, get castles. Oh, like, okay, so bishop is still undeveloped, but I suppose this is more flexible because I have the option to castle queenside if I want. And then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bishop
The
d5,
question
queen
is, yeah,
f3, I think I did also debate, but bishop d5, queen f3, obviously bishop takes d5 I can't do just yet. Bishop take d4 even. Um,
yeah. Maybe like just I don't know, queen d2, and
long castles.
yeah, I feel like this is how to have fun with white in this structure.
Okay.
Um, at some point, the knight can go to f3. Probably not right here, but knight f3, knight e5,
Hmm.
some kind of maneuver.